As many. The chair recognizes the honourable member for Kalani.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, before I get into my debate, allow me to congratulate the member came from good stock, and I'm certain that he will continue that pathway. I've listened to some of his debates in the Senate, and he's been on point, and I look forward to the similar type of debates here in Parliament. Madam Speaker, no government intentionally try to do bad for its people. All government's intent is to improve the quality of life for its people and to ensure that its people receive the best that is available in the world at that particular time. That is the intent of every government. However, our methods and the road that we may travel to achieve that may be different. And it's our intent to show the government that, yes, we understand what they're trying to do, but we do not agree with the method or the road that you're traveling. And as I speak, I will try to show that the government is on the wrong road, the wrong track in the development or advancement of our healthcare system. But just as you want an improved healthcare system, so do we. That's the wishes of every Bahamian citizen. So, Madam Speaker, I rise today on behalf of my lovely constituency of Kalani to contribute to this resolution of borrowing monies for the advancement of our healthcare system. The PHA is desirous of borrowing $75 million from a consortium of banks led by CIBC, Caribbean, for the purpose of construction of the Grand Bahama Hospital and repairs to the Princess Margaret Hospital. A precondition of this borrowing is that the government pays back the loan. That's very important. The government pays back. It's not a grant. We must pay it back. For that to happen, a House resolution is needed. The debate of this resolution brings to light the government's poor decisions in and poor management of health care. They lack an overall health care strategy. As many medical professionals are saying, that this is the worst condition public health has been in their lifetime. Madam Speaker, the first bad decision under this government happened at the beginning of their term. My administration left money in the bank for the construction of a new wing at Princess Margaret Hospital. The PLP did not have the good sense to go ahead with that deal. They sent money back. Madam Speaker, $115 million was borrowed from the World Bank Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, MICA. And the government had not drawn or complete what we had started. And one of the arguments the minister had used repeatedly was the monies had other attachments to it. He is correct. $20 million out of that 115 was for SBDC, Small Business Development Center. That $20 million were to give as grants to the young people, entrepreneurs, Bahamians, men and women who wanted to do their businesses. Are you against that? That's what the 20 million, which was a part of it, was for, to give to the young people, Bahamians, to establish their businesses, to expand their businesses. Yes, that was an accessory. And 88.6 million was for the construction of a 4-story tower. And we were debating whether to extend it to 6-story. It was a design-build project by the same architects that is involved with the new institution, the group, same group. Madam Speaker, this 4-story would have had maternal and child health component, what you want to do. It would have also had medical and surgical suites, thus expanding our bed capacity. Now, Madam Speaker, that is very important. You know why? I left medicine in 2007. When I left, the hospital had 425 beds. 2007, 425 beds. In 2009, a study was done which showed by the Public Hospital Authority that with the disease pattern in our nation and the hospitalization, by 2020, we would require 600 to 650 beds. Now, Madam Speaker, 2020 is gone. But by 2020, we require 600 to 650. 2007, when I left, was 425. Today, it's less than 300. It's less than 300. You have your time to talk. The loan from the World Bank was not only for the tower, but was also to establish an infectious disease unit. And the member is a doctor. He knows how important an infectious disease unit is today and moving forward. It was to complete, monies were there to complete improvement of the accident emergency unit so as to decrease the overcrowding and increase the patient flow.
The chair recognizes
Let me finish my last statement.
Finish your last statement.
Increase the patient flow by approximately 30%. And I will present, if you want facts and documents, I have it available.
Chair recognizes the honourable member.
The member for Kalani. The member of Kalani, when he was practicing medicine in 2007, the hospital had a better bed capacity than when he left as Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. On coming to office, we found up to 3 wards gutted with garbage in it. There was no infrastructural upgrade at the Princess Margaret Hospital during his watch as Prime Minister.
You said no?
None, not one. As a matter of fact, we were renovating 17 clinics throughout the Family Islands. When I arrived back, I met the wood right on the door. Nothing happened during your administration as Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I came in a desperation to a crumbling healthcare system that lost more than 120 beds in the last administration. We moved swiftly. We renovated 3 wards and increased the capacity almost by 100 beds. There's still a lot more work to be done at the hospital, and it ain't over until the fat lady sings. We still have more time in office, and we're going to have to. So you're speaking about what you met. Why don't you talk about what happened when you were there?
But the fat lady sing. Well, today, the fat man will sing. Madam Speaker, the members are agreeing with what I said. We recognize that 2020 required 600 to 650. We left in place a design bill for the 6-story institution to be built, which would have facilitated beds for medical and surgical. You stopped it.
Yes. Stop.
Chair recognizes the honourable member for Talbot.
The member for Kalani, in the desperate act in the final hours of his administration, presented to this House of Assembly some renderings that he had in his mind to deliver for the Bahamian people and did nothing. He didn't do anything. He had a plan. But a plan without action is dead.
The world is watching. The world is watching. Madam Speaker.
I enjoy debates. First and foremost, I don't know if the member, well, first of all, the contract was signed, but I don't know if the member knows what design build means. It's not in my head. Go look it up. Go look it up. Talk to the Beck group so that an architect can explain that to you. Because I am speaking to a brick wall. I cannot get through that head of yours.
With all due respect to my colleague and my doctor friend, I'm fully aware what a design bill is. I'm actually doing one as we speak. The difference between you and me is I put shovel in the ground, you're still in your head. That's what it is.
Now, I ain't getting
Madam
between these
Speaker.
two doctors.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
I ain't getting between the two doctors today.
I do not disagree with the member that he put shovel to the ground, because I will show that the member is involved in at least 4 shovel in terms of breaking grounds, but never go beyond 4 break grounds. You are famous for breaking grounds, putting shovel on the ground, throwing dirt aside, and never move forward. Madam Speaker, monies were there for urgent renovation of the wards and patient care environment. Monies were there to acquire new radiology equipments and to support the expansion of teleradiology program. Now, Madam Speaker, if the member would check his records, he would note that we had already had a teleradiology program working. Through technology, the doctors at Princess Margaret Hospital could be on call for Grand Bahama, so that should Grand Bahama do an x-ray, the doctor in Nassau could read it. So doctor on call Monday through Wednesday, then Grand Bahama on call Thursday to Friday. But we also had agreement with University of Miami. Should you need a second opinion, then University of Miami would read that. That was what was set up, and that was monies were left for expansion of that so that it could be expanded not only between Nassau and Grand Bahama and University of Miami, but throughout the Family Islands. All of the radiological equipments were being changed from analog to digital.
It's quite obviously
The chair recognizes the honourable member.
the member for Kalani is still in planning mode. But let me tell you, as we speak now, under this Davis-led administration, we have 14 digital x-rays already in the country for deployment on every family island. It is not in our head. The equipment has been purchased, and the physicists and the entire team is about to put them in place. So when you speak about teleradiology. I'm speaking about teleradiology. The reality is you will see teleradiology in full swing before this administration calls the next election. Well, yeah, no, I'm not taking, Member for Kalani, you're my colleague. Governance is continuous. Between me and you, from the time I was in the Senate, I hear you talking about telemedicine. I heard you told about it. And I still see the old machine there that never worked. But you had good intentions. You're a good planner. The problem with you can't deliver.
Madam Speaker, in the interest of time, I will proceed, but I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back to you. I love arguing with you. I love it because I have a file here, and I brought this here today too. I'm going to deal with you. But Madam Speaker, it is rare that a government anywhere in this world sends back funds that are borrowed for a project. Yet this is what was done. They were so short.
The chair recognizes the honourable member for...
I have been down this road many times with the member for Kalani. I am not the Ministry of Finance or the Minister of Finance. On coming to office, we inquired about the funding that was already in country. We agreed that it was low-interest funding. The problem with the funding is when we investigated it, the money was tied in with this facility that we could not get clarity on. We couldn't find no documents about it at the Ministry of Finance. We did not know who the small loan facility was going to. To my understanding, some was already earmarked grant funding, but we don't know where it is going. We were trying to find the details about the funding that was tied in with the funding for the hospital project, and we couldn't get it. Between me and you, it's easy said than done. I am still looking for documents in the last administration that I can't find.
I want to carry on, but I don't understand. I don't understand why the member. I don't understand why the member would have had such great difficulty when the same individuals are there, and I can tell you,
The same people.
I can look. The documents are there. I can tell you exactly when the drawdowns were and how much monies were drawn down. I have it all here. So I don't know why you can't find it. My little book, my little diary should not be as detailed and specific as the Ministry of Finance. Are you telling me that I keep better records than the Ministry of Finance? I hope that's not what you're saying. I'm bluffing? Madam Speaker,
Don't do that to them.
that short-sightedness
Don't do that to them.
caused the Bahamian people a modern upgrade to our major healthcare facility.
Don't do that to them.
If the governing party had gone ahead with our project, the new 4 to 6 story would have already been built and opened, completed. And the problems, many of the problems we see today, we may not. This new 4 to 6 story would have taken significant pressure off the existing PMH. Instead, we have had under the PLP, what we've had is deteriorating conditions at PMH, rodent infestation, and long waiting times. It has gotten so bad that recently a senior nurse made a video asking the Prime Minister for help. She cried out. She cried out over the leaking roofs. She cried out over the lack of supplies and human resources. She referenced the rodent problems. Instead of being listened to, and instead of that help being offered, the nurse was victimized and suspended. Who gave the order to suspend her? For the record, I do not think that nurse should have been suspended for just telling the truth and asking the Prime Minister for help. So she was asking the Prime Minister for help. So as I stand here, I'm going to ask the Prime Minister for help. Killarney need help in paving its road, Bahama West community. I've spoken about that. I'm asking for help. Ruby Avenue, in the Nico Grant Apartments, we need help. I'm asking for help. South Ocean, the roads are dug up, we don't have proper lighting, but asking for help. And my God, I go walking in the morning. There is no light between Goodman's Bay and the Goodman's Bay Corporate Center. The beginning of Goodman's Bay, the western end, the Seaview Avenue, there is complete darkness. We need help. Munnings Drive, we need help. I'm asking the Prime Minister for help. The other day I was driving in Angliston, visiting family. And I thought it was a good thing I was awake. Because, Madam Speaker, I would have sworn I was on I-95. Madam Speaker, this nurse is on the front lines every day, saving lives and giving care to Bahamians. Her suspension was a form of victimization. Her suspension was an abuse of power. She shamed the government, and they tried to silence her. Overall, PMH is in need of serious investment, just as Grand Bahama needs its hospital. That is why I support this resolution. But in supporting the resolution, I have questions about how the PLP is handling our healthcare sector. The PLP pledged in its 2021 manifesto to build a hospital in New Providence through a public-private partnership. They have abandoned the public-private partnership idea, and now the governing party is going to erect a Chinese-built hospital. In the coming days, they plan to sign a final deal for funding with the Chinese Exim Bank. The government signed an agreement to borrow $195 million from the bank in July. That figure covers around 73% of the hospital's funding. The government said the remaining 27%, or $72 million, will be funded by the Ministry of Finance. The 200-bed specialty hospital will be located on New Providence Highway. All of the talk and back and forth with the Chinese over this hospital over the past few years has distracted the PLP from addressing the various deficiencies at the PMH. Here we are, borrowing money to help fix up PMH 4 years into their term. They are late in addressing their responsibility to our major healthcare facility. How many people have suffered because of these delays? If they had built our 4- to 6-story tower and focused on PMH earlier, as the opposition has argued, we would not be in this dilemma we are today. After ignoring serious changes in healthcare for 4 years, on the eve of a general election, the PLP is rushing to try and show that they are doing something. Madam Speaker, this is just like them roads and Golden Isles. They rush to pave before the by-election. But again, I say to the member for Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador, and the member for South Central and South Eleuthera, the Minister of Works, that Kalani needs help. Bahama West needs help. The Nico condominium area needs help. They are elderly people, and the problems that they experience with their roadway is as a result of us, governments. I'm not saying you. All governments were irresponsible, and as a result, the people are being affected. They showed neglect to public health for 4 years. Now they're pretending to care. Madam Speaker, what the government also does not like to talk about is the other facts surrounding the new specialty hospital they propose to build, which has taken their focus away from PMH. By signing a deal with China, the lead contractor will be Chinese. The workers will largely be Chinese, and the materials will come from China. All this will happen while Bahamian people will have to pay back the debt for the facility. I want to pose a question here. There are over $2 billion in liquidity in our system. Monies are there, but we don't have anything to invest in. Don't you think it's time that we start helping our investors and mobilizing that fund? Would it not have been beneficial if we had gotten the Kalinas, the Tony Fergusons, and others to mobilize that money so that we could build, individuals would have invested, Bahamians would have invested in the construction of their hospital facility, and rather than having foreign employees, we would have had Bahamian employees. Not only that, we would have been in a position to do as was done with both Bahama and Atlantis, where Bahamians learned new skills in preparation for tomorrow. Let us find a way to mobilize the $2 billion that's sitting there receiving nothing via the bank system, but investors are anxious. Pension funds, anxious. Insurance companies, anxious, and other investors. Madam Speaker, this can be done in 2 tranches. You can look at both short-term and long-term. The short-term for the $1,000 investors and whatever else, and the long-term for the larger investors and insurance companies. The administration does not like to talk about just how many Chinese workers will come into the country as part of that deal. I have asked before what that number will be. Will it be 500? Will it be 800? Or will it be 1,000? Why won't they answer this question? Tall Pines, you love to talk. I would gladly sit to hear your answer. Oh my God, he finally mute.
The chair recognizes.
The member for Kalani was here when I made it very clear that I will come back to this House, and I say this on the integrity as the minister, and I will outline the entire parameters of all contractual agreements signed with the Chinese government. I will lay all of the approvals. I will lay all of the signed agreements, including the concessional loan and the loan when it's completed. I will do it. I was hoping to have it at this particular meeting. The money is not borrowed. The money's We are in the process of borrowing the money. When you sign the document, the money is borrowed. I have not signed the document yet. I made that very clear. And until I sign the document and meet the requirements to sign the document, I will present these documents to this honorable House so that every member in this House and the Bahamian people could view the documents to be completely transparent and accountable to what we are doing in this Davis-led administration.
Speaker, you know, I have found a way to press his button. Yes. And when I press, he jumps. I'm happy to hear they're not hiding anything. The government of the Bahamas should not be creating public works projects that create jobs for foreign nationals.
Yeah, it's disgraceful. Right? Disgraceful.
This money has to be repaid.
What do you think?
It's not a grant.
What do you think?
If it's a grant, I could see that argument being forth. But I'm borrowing your money. I have to pay your money back. And you can tell me I can only hire 2 Bahamians and 9 of foreign nationals? Just giving figures. That ain't right. And that is why mobilize, for God's sake, mobilize the $2 billion liquidity that's in our system. The port downtown. Bahamian monies did that. Why can't Bahamian money sitting there? $2 billion with nothing to do. They're looking for investment. Mobilize. But we'll talk about that another day. I can give a complete financial lecture in here one day. The Chinese do not bring foreign workers for their public work projects. We are a country with a youth unemployment rate that hovers around 20%, with many unemployed young men who need opportunities. We need investments and public works projects that create jobs for Bahamians. I support borrowing money to fix PMH and build Grand Bahama its hospital. Along with most of the medical professionals in our country, I do not support the proposed Chinese-built hospital. The other problem with this Chinese-built hospital is staffing. The country already has a chronic nurse shortage. Where will the nurses and medical technicians and specialist physicians come from to operate these hospitals? I repeat it in this Parliament over and over. We have multiple examples of health facilities that were built and have not been staffed properly, and some of the equipments are still in plastic and are now obsolete. Don't let's create a white elephant, that's all. All I'm saying, we all want the same results, better for our people. Madam Speaker, we already have problems delivering quality health care at PMH, as has been detailed constantly in the public sphere by all stakeholders. Now the PLP will split those scarce resources between 2 hospitals, miles apart. Again, it was the consensus of all previous administrations to expand the campus at PMH with new wings. This New Day administration has broken with that consensus with its Chinese-built hospital. The PLP should be building a new wing for the 6-story tower, and not this Chinese-built hospital that had been proposed. Moreover, PMH should be transformed into a new hospital and teaching campus. Madam Speaker, there are additional concerns with the proposed specialty hospital. The residents in nearby communities have voiced their opposition to its construction. They fear flooding, noise, and traffic being brought into their communities. The New Day administration has not taken these concerns into consideration, and they plow ahead with the construction of this new facility. I say to the people of these communities, on election day, remember the PLP did not listen to you when you said you do not want this project in your neighborhood. just as the PLP did not stand with you. You see, now, that close to Kalani, so I speak in the Kalani. You should not, Kalani, stand with them. And to the resident of Kalani, I need you to stand with me. Whenever election is called, I need your support, just as you have offered and given me your support from 2007. We will continue to make Kalani even stronger. Madam Speaker, whoever is Kalani brave, Kalani strong, whoever is the government of the day needs a more comprehensive vision for a healthier Bahamas. This includes matters like the shortage of medical and nursing staff. It also includes reducing waiting times for medical appointments and surgeries. On the PLP watch, waiting times have gotten significantly worse. There are numerous cases of patients having to wait many months, and in some instances, up to a year for surgery. You cannot improve health care through ribbon cutting, photo ops, and touring healthcare facilities. In its blueprint for change, the PLP made plenty promises which they failed to keep. They promised to, quote, review the levels in cost of health care to make it more affordable. Instead, the cost of health care has gone up dramatically. They even put VAT on medicine. They promised to proceed with plans to introduce catastrophic health care throughout the Bahamas. They did budget some money for catastrophic care, but how many people and who is benefiting still is not clear. The PLP promised to promote entrepreneurship and incentivize fitness trainers, weightlifters, coaches, and nutritionists for a health initiative at community parks with the necessary training equipment. They failed again. The PLP did not have to contend with a pandemic or a major hurricane, yet they failed miserably on health care, just as they have on energy reform and reducing the cost of living. One last concern I wish to note: how many millions are owed to vendors for medicine, supplies, repair work, and other services for which the PHA and/or Ministry of Health and Wellness has contracted? How much money is owed by this PLP government for healthcare vendors and suppliers? Madam Speaker, again, I support this borrowing resolution. Many Bahamians are hoping that the work on these hospital plans will happen quickly so that Bahamians receive a better quality of health care than they have received in recent times. Moreover, given the PLP's record on procurement and accountability with public funds, many are watching to see how the borrowed money will be spent. Before I close, Madam Speaker, again, I want to remind the government that the street lights between the western end of Goodman's Bay down to Seaview Drive, Goodman's Corporate Center, are off. They've been off for a couple of weeks now, and it's extremely dark and pose some kind of danger to the walking or exercising public. And Madam Speaker, I would ask the government, especially during this Christmas time, to look at what is being done or what is required to receive a business license. Individuals in my community have complained to receive a simple, basic business license. They have to submit the application online, go to Ministry of Works about inspection of facility, go to physical planning, meeting their requirement, and travel to NIB, meeting their requirement, traveling to environmental health for a proper certificate. And Madam Speaker, that is posing serious problems to the small businessmen, many who may not even have access to cars because we do not have a busing system to run between those various destinations quite easily. I ask the government to look at that, especially even if you would issue a provisional license for individuals below a certain level so that they can receive the license immediately and get involved in this financial boom during every Christmas season so they can get their license quickly. And all of those additional requirements, they can be moved in slowly. But provisional license, at least for those businesses, 100,000, 150,000, provisional license should be issued. They do not have the time nor the funds to run up and down to the various destinations to receive it. Madam Speaker, Kalani supports the resolution.
Thank you, Honourable Member. As Minnie.